Hey everybody and welcome back to NFT Kings. My name is Matt and in today's video we're going to be talking about exactly what Decentraland is doing. I know a lot of you guys have been talking to me about this over on Twitter and I did think it was worth mentioning. So if you guys are new, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more daily mana videos and let's get right into it, folks. So if you guys have not already seen what we are working with here on the day, this is extremely impressive stuff. And you might look at this and say, hey, 3.4%, that's nothing particularly great, but what is great is when we take a look at what everything else is doing on the day. And you guys can see there are very few coins that are performing hot on the day. Sandbox, wow, 26%, that's incredible. But everything else, you guys can see not doing particularly hot, except for, of course, Decentraland, which you guys can see is up a great deal here on the day, 3%, again, comparatively to everything else that we are looking at, because really, Bitcoin and everything else that really drives the market is not doing particularly hot, falling into the $58,000 range. Ethereum about to fall below 4, which is not particularly nice looking at all. So mana has managed to stay in the green despite all of that, which is incredible. And what I'm noticing here is in the 24-hour time span, the volume has increased dramatically. The volume is up here 107.39%, which is just mind-boggling here. Normally, when volume is up that high, it's either like a really fast like surge buy or a flash crash. With mana, it looks as if there is just a lot more people selling and a lot more people buying, and the people buying are slightly winning here, which is great. So, again, that is the volume here over the past 24 hours, and the market cap is creeping up on $6 billion again, putting us here at rank 36, which is a little bit behind HBAR, FTX, so a couple things that we easily could knock out to work our way higher up the market cap chain. So, all around, that is excellent. Speaking of things that are excellent, guys, check out Webull, top of the link down below in the description. It is so easy to do if you guys want to get started trading stocks, crypto, all that good stuff over there. If you guys use my link at the top of the description, of course, I get a little bit of free crypto stocks. You guys might get a little bit of free crypto stocks. I always do appreciate it. And Webull is always giving away free stuff. So if you guys sign up with my link, you guys will get something for free in your account. It is my affiliate link, full disclosure. Anyways, guys, so what we can look at here when we look at our graph is honestly astounding because, again, when we like spread things apart, this is extremely hard to graph. And I think a lot of people can agree with this. This is very hard to look at because really, when you see any kind of movement like this, it is very hard to say, oh, this is just a falling wedge in the same wedge. It's very hard to do because really there's no way to get everything to fit inside of a wedge like this. It becomes very difficult. However, there are a couple of scenarios we could draw here. The main scenario I'm really seeing is the potential for a symmetrical wedge, which you guys can see here on screen. Now, mind you, it doesn't fill this out as much as it should. It's not particularly pretty to look at. And I think a lot of people, when looking at charts like this, get a little bit overwhelmed. In the end, a lot of it is just trial and error. Try a bunch of different patterns over existing charts and see, does this look like it fits? Could you perhaps say this is a slight variation of an existing charting pattern? So that's what I always look for, because in the end, a symmetrical wedge like this is a set of increasing lows and a set of decreasing highs, kind of meeting in the middle. And while it doesn't follow that exactly, I would say the majority of the values, minus this exception here and minus this exception here, do kind of seem to fit in there. And of course, you could shift this if you wanted to, but I do see a level of consolidation somewhere around $3. And this is really what I think is worth mentioning out of these crazy drawings here that we are trying desperately to fit in here, is that I see a line of consolidation somewhere around $3. I mean that's just, I think a very conservative, well sort of predicted estimate for the near future, because really, these surges, these flash surges here up to, almost $4, $3.50, it seems as if they're getting rejected every time. And of course, when we take a look at our graph here, you guys can see every time we head up a little bit, we head, towards the higher part of the threes, it looks as if it wants to either, head down a little bit or just kind of generally gets rejected whenever we go to make that kind of a push. But it does look as if the points of rejection are getting higher. So Over here on the 60, you guys can see it is essentially rejected at $3, heads down. Okay, it slopes down to like 250, nothing tragic. And then we head back up, same thing. We head up, 350. Oh my goodness, we're gonna hit 4, and then same thing gets rejected. Only this time we bounce off of 3. So we bounce off of 3.15, 3.11. We bounce off of these numbers, and similar thing. We go up, we go for the 350 line again, gets rejected. We bounce off of the high 2s, and now we are challenging the 350 line again. Of course, it doesn't look as if it succeeded in doing that, and in my guess, it'll probably bounce off the 3 again, and that would be probably a reasonable look here for the near future. But our goal, of course, is to try to look at this and find some way to give this a characteristic, some way to look at this and say, yeah, this is what Decentraland is doing. This is the type of movement it's making. And again, guys, it is just so hard to do. But if we are to look at our short range, you guys could see this does perhaps look like the potential for some kind of a symmetrical wedge. Again, we want to be looking for any kind of wedge that is either symmetrical, where we have decreasing tops and increasing bottoms, of course, kind of meeting in the middle, or a falling wedge where we have tops that are decreasing, of course, and bottoms that are decreasing at a slightly lower rate. Either of these are bullish. Now, the bearish one that we want to look out for is where the top is staying pretty much the same and the bottom is increasing dramatically. This is bearish. This typically will lead to a crash, and that is what we don't want to see. So the question is, when we look at this most recent movement here with Decentraland, is it the symmetrical wedge or is it the falling wedge or the ascending wedge, which is, of course, bearish? That is what we want to look for, and really, there's no easy way to tell or to fit them in there. So that is a difficulty I want you guys to be aware of. When we check our relative strength index, you guys can see this is one of my favorite indicators of all time, of course. We hit a little bit of a low. It is perceived to be oversold, of course, right around the 275 mark. It reaches, near the very low end of the relative strength index, and that definitely can be reason for alarm. So it does look as if we were able to snap back pretty quickly. We head up to, around 330, 340, 350, and it is showing us with our relative strength index that is okay, that is acceptable, that is actually near the 50-60 mark, which is completely fine. So the relative strength index can continue to do this, and we can continue to trade around 320, 330, 340, something like that, without having a lot of issues, without having issues with volatility and sell volume and all that. So it does look as if that is a possible scenario. If you are to check the Fibonacci or retracement, which is more of a short-term thing that I always do like to look at to get an idea of what we're going to see here in the short term, you guys can see it is going to trace the bottom and high of the run. So the low here is at 275, the high here is at 340, and essentially we're not given an awful lot of information except for the fact that the 23.6% line here looks as if where we could possibly bounce off of, because again, we head up to 342, then it loses 23.6% of the gains made in this run, and that leaves us, of course, at around 325. So we could very well just bounce off of 325 if things go good. However, I do expect that, of course, in the current market kind of situation we're in, things could continue to slip a little bit. And in that instance, of course, we could maybe fall down to a lower line of support, maybe the 50% line, maybe the 78.6% line. There are a lot of different options here, but I do see any of these lines as being great options. I do see any of them really working in the near future to bounce off of. So with that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know where you guys think Decentraland will be in a week from now down below in the comments. My name is Matt. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one.